Today's show is sponsored by the Electric Vehicle Association. Join up to support the electrification of transport and get the help you need to finance your own EV or clean energy future. And by the 10th annual Tesla raffle from Gridserve Chicago. Head to the link below and use the code TRANSPORTEVOLVE to get $25 off 2 tickets. And by Energy Sage. Visit the link in the description to find local, verified solar experts, community projects and heat pump specialists in your area. And if you've been waiting to get tickets for this year's Everything Electric in Vancouver, Canada this September, stick around until later in the show to find out how you can support the channel and get 20% off your tickets. Welcome back to another episode of TEN, Transport Evolved News. Thanks for joining me. For as long as battery electric vehicles have been made, their most expensive component has been their battery pack. One reason why EVs have traditionally cost more than ICE vehicles. Mercifully, thanks to improvements in manufacturing and economies of scale, EVs in some markets now reach or beat price parity with ICE vehicles, thanks to the falling price of lithium-ion batteries. And now data from the US government's Argonne National Laboratory shows how much prices have fallen, a massive 90% between 2008 and 2023. Last year, its data shows lithium-ion batteries for EVs cost on average $139 per usable kilowatt-hour in a battery pack versus more than $1,400 per usable kilowatt-hour in 2008. We can only hope those cost reductions continue to make EVs accessible for everyone. When considering the switch to electric, it's common for potential EV owners to overestimate their range requirements, leading to severe range anxiety and a reluctance to switch. But now BMW is offering customers who drive its gasoline vehicles a way to better identify which of its EV lineup will suit their needs, utilizing a new feature in both the BMW smartphone app and the Mini smartphone app. If you're a BMW or Mini customer who drives a connected internal combustion engined vehicle, you can now track your trips, and once you've covered at least 200 trips over at least 2,000 kilometers, 1,250 miles, your app will make helpful suggestions as to which BMW EV model you should consider switching to. I should note that there are third-party apps that do a similar thing, but kudos to BMW for encouraging people to switch. UK-based charging provider Gridserve, which operates both charging stations and full-service electric forecourts across the UK, has announced its intention to expand globally. While the company hasn't announced which markets it will expand into first, what makes Gridserve's setup different to many traditional charging providers is that its electric forecourt locations offer EV drivers so much more than just a place to charge, combining EV charging for all makes, models and power levels with a safe, clean and welcoming environment to wait while charging. In addition to multiple refreshment options and rest facilities, its electric forecourts also host small grocery stores, an EV education and experience zone, meeting rooms with internet connectivity, and a place for children to safely play. And being fully staffed, they also offer full-service charging for EV drivers who need assistance managing heavy charging cables. Having experienced this setup in the UK, I cannot wait for it to expand globally. With a few updates on Tesla's Cybertruck next, with news last week that Tesla has quietly removed its entry-level $60,990 Cybertruck from its online store. A predictable move, given that Tesla has done this for pretty much every other EV it's ever produced, usually due to a claimed lack of interest in an entry-level model. The cheapest Tesla Cybertruck is now going to be the $99,990 twin motor variant, with deliveries now available later this month or September. At the time, Tesla also confirmed that there's no longer a wait list for Cybertruck, which, given just how many hand raises it had after reveal, suggests not everyone who put down a deposit has followed through with a purchase. We also got a price last week for Tesla's promised range-extending battery pack for Cybertruck, $16,000 installed, with deliveries starting next year. Texas might not be the first place you'd think of as being home to free EV charging, but if you are a Ford EV driver and a customer of TXU Energy, that's exactly what you might now get. In order to encourage customers to charge their vehicles during periods of the day where demand is lowest and energy generation is plentiful, TXU Energy and Ford have partnered to allow the utility to control when customers charge their EVs. This improves grid resiliency, lowering peak demand energy requirements, and reduces the need for peaker plants. In exchange, customers who take part in the program will get credits on their bill equivalent to the energy used by their EV during sanctioned EV charging periods. I should note also that this isn't new. UK EV owners with smart grid-connected charging stations have been doing this for years. With the Paris Olympics now officially over and the Olympic torch on its way to Los Angeles for 2028, complete with Tom Cruise riding a live wire Del Mar, plans for LA's car-free Olympics are now winding up. As part of that, Archer Aviation, in collaboration with multiple local stakeholders, has announced its intent to establish an eVTOL air taxi service in and around LA by 2026, well ahead of the start of the next Olympics. It wants to tie in key transportation hubs with sporting venues, university campuses and healthcare facilities, as well as locations in Hollywood, Long Beach, Orange County and Van Nuys. While it's great to see an alternative to private cars offered, as Parisians noted with Volocopter, eVTOL is a long way from being equitable or accessible for all. We actually need better public transit for all, not just the few. JD Power has published its latest electric vehicle experience public charging study, showing a welcome improvement in fast charging reliability and satisfaction in the US. Tesla, as in previous years, remains the leader in charging station reliability and satisfaction, but overall, EV driver satisfaction with DC fast charging is on the rise, up 10 points this year on the same period last. However, Tesla's network is still the only DC fast charging brand to rank above the average for the segment, showing other fast charging station network providers still have work to do. And as the survey notes, 19% of respondents still reported experiencing a broken charging station at least once during the last quarter. The survey also shows a troubling trend in level 2 charging station reliability, with level 2 charging stations more likely than in previous years to be broken and inoperable. And that's a worrying trend. As CEO of the world's largest electric automaker, you might expect Elon Musk to pay attention to the latest in climate change research. But this week he was raising eyebrows for his apparent lack of concern over greenhouse gas emissions. During a one-on-one with Republican presidential candidate and former President Donald Trump, someone who is a known climate change skeptic, discussion came around to climate change and emissions, during which Elon Musk offered little pushback to Trump's climate change denialism. At the same time, Musk claimed that carbon dioxide levels aren't yet dangerous and will only be so when they reach 1,000 parts per million, conflating what's seen as the upper limit for safe CO2 exposure inside a building with CO2 in the outside air. Musk also said that we should not vilify the oil and gas industry, despite calling fossil fuel use the dumbest experiment in human history just 6 years ago. Honestly, we have no words. We've often commented that in order to get more people plugging into EVs, we need better charging provision for those who don't have off-street parking and charging. And in the UK, a company by the name of Kerbo agrees. And it's now announced a new partnership with Enfield Council in London that will allow EV owners to install its patented Kerbo Charge system to allow for street-side charging. Already deployed in other towns and cities across the UK, the Kerbo Charge system utilises a special channel installed into the pavement that allows EV owners to pass a charging cable from their home to their car on the street without presenting a trip hazard or attracting debris. While customers will have to pay to have a Kerbo Charge conduit installed, they will save upwards of £1,100 a year from the lower costs associated with at-home versus public charging. And finally for the segment, we've covered some pretty big EV price cuts on this channel this year, with some EVs getting sizable discounts and incentives to encourage customers to get behind the wheel. But in Aotearoa New Zealand, Fiat's 500e, imported to the country by Ateco Group, has just been given a 25,000 Kiwi dollar price cut, taking its price from 59,990 Kiwi dollars to 34,990 Kiwi dollars. This not only makes the pint-sized EV a great deal, but now the cheapest EV you can buy in the entire country. We actually had one for review this week, but it threw an error while we were filming and had to go back to Fiat before we could actually finish our review. Sorry. Our shorts are coming in a second, but first a word from the 10th annual Tesla raffle from Gridserve Chicago, where you can get the chance to win your choice of any of Tesla's currently in production passenger vehicles. That's a Tesla Model S, 3, X, Y or Cybertruck, or $50,000 in cash for those who would rather spend their prize funds on a different EV or something else entirely. Gridserve Chicago is a non-profit that focuses on empowering individuals and families in need towards self-sufficiency, utilizing a wide range of different services ranging from free food, furniture and clothing to assistance navigating government programs and finding new employment, among many more services. For your chance to win the Tesla of your choice, head to ccraffle.com, where you can use the code TRANSPORTEVOLVE to get $25 off 2 tickets or $500 off 15 tickets. There are only 9,999 tickets available. When they are sold, and with the draw taking place on September 9th, you need to get your tickets today. And now it's time for shorts. General Motors is recalling 2023 and 2024 model year Cadillac Lyriqs to address a potential problem with affected cars' ABS systems. According to the recall, the cars may have an overly sensitive ABS, which could lead to increased accident risk. Ford is recalling certain cars, including the Mustang Mach E, to address a potentially faulty front wiper. According to Ford, water ingress into the wiper motor on affected vehicles can cause the wiper to stop functioning completely, but only 5% of the vehicle population is believed to be affected. Authorities in South Korea are pushing Mercedes-Benz for more information about battery packs used in its vehicles following a fire last week involving a Chinese-manufactured Mercedes-Benz EQE. Watch this space. Nikola published its second quarter results this week, recording a total quarterly loss of just over $133 million US. While it does still produce battery electric big rigs, the company reaffirmed its long-term goal of hydrogen fuel cell trucks. Enphase Energy, which acquired Clipper Creek a few years ago, has just announced it's launched NACS-compatible variants of all of its in-production Level 2 charging stations. Customers can now pick from J1772 or NACS as appropriate for their vehicle's charge inlet. The state of New Mexico is getting a brand new solar cell production facility worth $1 billion US. According to official announcements this week, Albuquerque will soon be home to Ebon Solar's newest production facility, with 900 new jobs created. Archer Aviation has just inked a deal with Future Flight Global that will see up to 116 Archer Midnight eVTOL aircraft purchased that could net the company up to $580 million US. It's quickly becoming a leader in the space. Tesla has just announced a brand new subscription bundle for customers in the US that combines full self-driving, supervised, free supercharging and premium connectivity for 3 years. The price, $5,000 US. It's not clear what options customers will have after those 3 years are up. While Volvo's EX90 has yet to officially launch in the US, and as it happens, I'm heading to the launch drive next week with embargo dropping in early September, the prices for the cars have already gone up. The cheapest variant is now just under $80,000 US. Chinese sibling brand to Volvo and Polestar, Zeekr, has now announced it's begun manufacturing a new LFP battery pack for vehicles that will be capable of charging at up to 5.5 C, meaning a theoretical 10.5-minute charge time from 10% full to 80% full. Hyundai Kia, which is quickly becoming one of the biggest players in the EV marketplace around the world, is now rumoured to be working on a next-generation range-extended drivetrain for use in future models, but that seems like a backward step on its current tech. Mazda has confirmed its all-new electric model, the EZ-6, will be sold as a global model. Unveiled earlier this year, it's a sleek luxury sedan that's got very little in common with the Mazda MX-30 EV we drove a few years ago. And that's a very good thing. EVgo has announced that it's in the midst of making significant upgrades to its charging network in the US, with the goal of improving resilience and reliability. In addition to replacing older charging stations, it's launched a new internal app designed to aid in identifying broken hardware without relying on user reports. Subaru is reportedly, on average, knocking as much as 12% off the price of its Solterra EV in incentives and deals, making it right now the most heavily discounted vehicle of any type, gasoline or electric, in the US. Well, other than the Fisker Ocean, of course. Tier 1 parts supplier Marl has announced a new electric fan specifically for EVs that promises quieter operation. With no engine, EV cooling fans can often be the loudest thing on an EV, and Marl's fans, which include a new AI-engineered fan design, promise to be far quieter than anything currently in production. Chinese automaker Dongfeng has started sales of the Nammi Box Ev in Europe. Due to begin deliveries later this year, starting in Switzerland, the car, known as the Nammi 01 in China, will cross-shop against the Citroën EC3 and Opel Corsa Electric in the European marketplace. The state of New York has just announced an increase in funding to its electric school bus program. Midweek, the state's governor, Kathy Hochul, announced an additional $200 million in funding for the program, citing a massive amount of interest so far. Shanghai has revealed its plans to completely switch its bus and taxi system to new energy vehicles by the end of 2027. And while the term new energy vehicles does include plug-in hybrids, it's understood Shanghai's primary goal is a battery electric fleet. A lengthy investigation in the US into allegations of defective suspension in Tesla Model S and Model X cars has concluded, with NHTSA stopping short of requiring Tesla to execute an official recall. Instead, it recommends Tesla swap out affected parts in cars. BYD's high-performance Mach Yangwang took to the track this week with a U-9 supercar, showing just how fast it can be. Hitting 375 kilometers per hour, 233 miles per hour, it's certainly no slouch. Battery specialist CATL, the world's largest battery manufacturer, has just opened a new kind of energy experience centre in Chengdu, China, where more than 100 EVs from 50 different manufacturers will be on display for visitors to see and experience. BYD's luxury brand Denza has unveiled its new flagship GT model. Called the Z9 GT, it's a high-performance luxury grand tourer that looks very much like the Porsche Taycan Cross Turismo and packs more than 1,000 horsepower at the wheels. As Tesla shareholders sue to stop Tesla sending staff to other Elon Musk-owned companies, Musk has increased the number of Tesla employees now working at his artificial intelligence company xAI. While the moves are being viewed as full-time changes of job, it looks bad for Tesla. Volkswagen's next-generation Golf, which is due to be all-electric, has been delayed multiple times in the last few years, but now reporting out of Germany suggests that after Rivian and Volkswagen's joint partnership got the green light, it may arrive earlier than expected, as soon as 2028. Polestar has officially started manufacturing the Polestar 3 SUV in the US at a new joint facility owned with Volvo. Located in South Carolina, the new vehicles, already rolling off the production line, will entitle Polestar customers to more purchase incentives than comparable Chinese-made ones. Data from Kelley Blue Book shows that while overall EV prices fell year-over-year in July, prices month-over-month were slightly higher, and Tesla's Model 3 was attracting on average a sales price 30% higher than it did in January, suggesting more high-end Teslas are being sold. After raising tariffs on Chinese-made solar panels earlier this year, the White House has announced it's raising the capacity limit on tariff-free solar imports per manufacturer. Now 12.5 gigawatts of panels can be imported tariff-free versus 5 gigawatts previously. Following a fire involving a Chinese-made Mercedes-Benz EQE in an underground car park in South Korea last week, Hyundai and Kia are now both offering customers in the country complimentary inspections to help quell fears about EVs and fire risks. Genesis confirmed some minor tweaks this week to the 2025 model year GV60 SUV lineup, including the addition of new paint and wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay connectivity. There's also a new lower-cost all-wheel drive variant at the lower end of the lineup. UK battery startup Gaussion, which is working on ultra-fast charging battery tech, has completed its first round of funding with €10.9 million in the bank. A spin-off from UCL London, its secret sauce lies in using external magnetic fields to increase the speed of charging. Vietnam, home to VinFast, is considering a new subsidy program designed to help pay for the electricity used at EV charging stations. It's also exploring the possibility of other purchase incentives and other sweeteners designed to get more people plugging in. Have you ever seen a charging station at sea? Well, now you have, courtesy of specialist Parkwind, which has just installed the first at-sea charging station for electric seacraft, well off the coast of Belgium. It utilises a retractable cord that can plug into a visiting boat. Human Horizons, the parent company of Chinese brand Hi-Fi, is looking like it will likely enter bankruptcy. The company has about 6 months to try and get itself out of financial trouble, or become the latest in a long line of hopeful EV startups to enter the history books. The Canadian province of Manitoba has extended its EV incentive program designed to get citizens plugging in. The incentive program will run through until March 2026 and offer $4,000 off a new EV or $2,500 off used EVs. China has filed an official complaint with the World Trade Organization's dispute settlement body over what it says are punitive tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles being imported to the EU. It claims that it's being unfairly targeted by European tariffs and seeks a remedy. Gentari has signed a new deal with Amazon India that will see the electric mobility specialist provide Amazon's third-party delivery partners with electric three-wheelers, or autos as they're often called, for use in deliveries. Vehicles will be made available under a VAAS, or Vehicle as a Service, agreement. The Kia EV3 might not yet be available worldwide, but as some countries slowly launch the model, we're hearing of sightings in the US, suggesting that the EV3 is coming to North America a lot earlier than some people feared it would be. Watch this space. And finally for this segment, the US federal government has just announced a new funding pot of $43 million to advance research, development and deployment of EV batteries under its 2024 Vehicle Technology Office funding program. And those are your shorts. There will be more next week. Our final two stories are next, but first a quick word from long-time sponsor, Energy Sage. Energy Sage helps homeowners connect with local verified solar installers across the US and now heat pump specialists in select markets who really know their stuff and can help you navigate the process of installing solar panels, help you join a community solar program, or get a heat pump installed. We used Energy Sage when we were looking for installers willing to help us put solar panels on the roof of our home, and our Energy Sage verified installers were professional, knowledgeable, and even put us in touch with an amazing credit union that allowed us to finance our solar panels for as low a monthly payment as possible. Follow the links below to sign up for either of Energy Sage's free, no-obligation services and get that ball rolling today. If you choose to use an Energy Sage installer for your project, we will also get a small referral fee, so you'll be helping us out too. Help the grid get greener and save money? It's a win-win. And now it's time for those last two stories. Hydrogen fuel cell vehicles were once heralded by many automakers as being the sensible alternative to battery electric vehicles. But as time has progressed, that's proven false. Not only have hydrogen fuel cell vehicles suffered from a completely unreliable refueling infrastructure that makes EV charging problems look perfect, but their heavy curb weight and lackluster performance haven't won them many friends. But this week, we got word that hydrogen fuel cell vehicles are being given an unusual and productive task as Ukraine continues to fight off Russia's illegal occupation. Bombs. While it's fair to acknowledge that any vehicle can be made into a weapon with the right tweaks, be it an EV battery bomb or a gasoline explosion, Ukrainian forces realised a full pressurised fuel tank from a Toyota Mirai, when subjected to an external detonation, can produce an explosion equivalent to 360-ish pounds of TNT, which, as Interesting Engineering put it this week, is a very effective, low-cost bunker buster. And finally, nobody likes noises at bedtime, be it the howling of coyotes out in the countryside or the blaring of car alarms in the city, but this week, residents in part of Los Angeles whose homes look onto a Waymo storage facility hit the headlines for a different type of disturbance. Honking. As it turns out, Waymo's fleet of self-driving Jaguar I-Pace EVs will honk as a way of alerting pedestrians and other road users to their presence if they feel there's a risk of their paths crossing. But for some reason, for the past several weeks, and I don't know whether there was a software bug or something else, Waymo Robotaxis have found themselves sitting in parking lots at night, all honking at one another in some kind of nocturnal show of force. The bumper stickers famously say, honk if you're... I'm not going to finish it, but I think I might have wanted to finish those cars disturbing my sleep. Honestly, I'll stick to my coyotes. And on that note, we are done with today's show. As always, a massive thank you to the Electric Vehicle Association for sponsoring today's show. They've been advocating for EVs since 1967 and firmly believe that our future depends on us making the switch to clean, green electric cars today. The EVA can help you find someone near to you that can help you make that switch to electric. It can help you become an EV educator, and it can point you in the direction of monthly meetups for like-minded EV fans. Plus, if you become a member, you'll gain access to a clean energy and EV loan program set up between the EVA and the Colorado Clean Energy Credit Union. You can find out more by heading to myeva.org. And thanks to the 10th annual Chesed Chicago Tesla raffle. Follow the link on screen and use Transport Evolved at checkout to get your discounted tickets today before they're all gone. And thanks to Energy Sage. Follow the link below to find out how easy it can be to get verified, trustworthy solar experts helping you make the step towards energy self-sufficiency through solar on the roof of your home, joining a community solar project, or by getting a heat pump installed. And if you are someone who made your own transportation or energy greener this week, whatever it was, congratulations. We love hearing from you. Drop us a line. If you'd like to support the channel directly, please consider supporting us from $1 a month on Patreon, which is about $10.08 a year. Don't use the iOS app, go to the website. It will save you some money. We are viewer supported because we believe the information we produce should be free to everyone. So if you do support, thank you. And if you have subscribed using iOS, it's okay. Cancel your subscription. Go back and do it through the website. It's nothing to do with Patreon. It's just Apple being Apple. Anyway, if you do support us, you make this possible. Our swag store is also there for your swag-related needs, including our newest t-shirt, which is a very special Canadian EV-owning moose that if you wear it to Everything Electric next month, then you might get a very special something for us if you come see us on our stand. Talking of which, if you'd like to come to Everything Electric Canada 2024 in Vancouver this September, in just 3 weeks' time, use the link on screen now to buy your tickets. And if you add the discount code TransportEvolved at checkout, you will get 20% off your tickets. And we will also get 100% of the proceeds of the tickets sold using that code. So you'll help us fund our own attendance. As I said, you have just 3 weeks, and we will be recording our 500th episode of this show live at the event. We'll be back next week as usual, with content going out every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday. And to finish, remember that you are valid and loved and you have a place in this world, regardless of what rich idiots, religious zealots and greedy politicians may say. Know that your existence is resistance, and that resistance, if you're able, can be bolstered by making sure you're registered to vote this year if you are in the US. It is, after all, part of the democratic process to have your say, regardless of ultimately whom you vote for. Until next time, stay safe, regardless of your identity or who you love. Be an amazing ally, be kind, and please, for the sake of everyone's future, keep evolving.